Hi, everybody. Thank you for joining us for this webinar about the Mediterranean diet. I just first want to say that a disclaimer. Many of the foods that we're going to be talking about tonight are major allergens. So if you are allergic to any of these foods that we're going to be discussing, do not eat them. Absolutely do not eat them. Just want to make that clear. So let's get started. We have a health crisis in the United States, and that is called heart disease. It's the leading cause of death in the United States. In 2022, 1 in 5 deaths were related to heart disease, and about 1 in 20 adults right now have some form of cardiovascular disease, whether they know it or not. So what puts you at risk for heart disease? The 3 prime factors are high blood pressure, high blood cholesterol, and smoking. There's other factors that also play a part in heart disease, and they could be diabetes, overweight and obesity, an unhealthy diet, physical inactivity, and excessive alcohol consumption. So the question is, can the foods we eat affect our health in a positive way? And the answer to that is absolutely. And that's what we're here to talk about today. I'm talking about the Mediterranean diet. The Mediterranean diet is a lifestyle more so than a diet, but it's also been familiarly coined as the anti-inflammatory diet. It has the ability to possibly lower blood pressure. It could lower your cholesterol. It includes eating a wide variety of plant-based foods. It includes lean, healthy proteins, healthy fats, and it encourages an active lifestyle. Again, my name is Dina Dugan. I am a registered dietitian here at Baystate Noble Hospital. I'm a clinical dietitian, so I see the inpatients and do their assessments. I also see outpatients for outpatient nutrition counseling. I got my education at Framingham State University. I graduated in 2020 with my bachelor's degree and in 2021 with my master's, and I've been working here ever since. So just a preview of what we're going to be talking about today. I'm going to give you a brief history of the Mediterranean diet. We're going to talk about the Mediterranean food pyramid and the guts and glory of that, how to construct our meals, some healthy snack ideas, and also give you some tips for eating out. So the history of the Mediterranean diet, it is a centuries-old lifestyle. It was born in this area of Crete, Greece, and southern Italy, which is basically where the olives grow. So in the early 1960s, an American physiologist named Ansel Keys studied the influence of diet on health. And he found that in this region of Crete, Greece, and southern Italy, that there was historically associated with low rates of chronic diseases and also a high adult life expectancy. And so that was the birth, I guess we'll say, of the modern Mediterranean diet. So let's start by looking at the pyramid. So this is a little bit similar to the FDA's food pyramid, and it's a lot of it different than the FDA's food pyramid. You might notice that it starts off with people at the bottom, and that's because we're promoting a certain lifestyle. Some things that are different between this and the FDA's food pyramid is right here, where it's kind of sort of suggesting that maybe wine is going to have some benefit to it. You'll never find that on the FDA's pyramid. It also stresses biodiversity and seasonality, your local customs, things that grow to you locally, cultural activities, adequate rest. It's important that you get good sleep, regular physical activity, and this right here, conviviality. And what that is just being positive, being friendly, being lively, being with others. That's the major differences between the FDA's food pyramid and the Mediterranean food pyramid. It's really getting more personal with you. So we're going to start at the bottom of the pyramid. First, we're going to talk about the people at the bottom. So at the base of the pyramid, we want to be physically active every day, whether that be biking, it could be walking, it could be yoga, it could be dancing, just something that gets you up and moves you. If you are in a position where physical activity is difficult for you, you can just do as much as you possibly can. So we have here a beautiful picture of people doing yoga. You could do chair yoga. You don't have to get up and get into these strange positions. In addition to, if you like to dance, but you do not have the ability or the balance to stand up and dance, you can also dance in your chair. That's totally something that's acceptable. You could ride a bike outdoors. You could ride a bike at the gym. You can walk your dog. That's the best activity that I can think of. Also, we want to share meals with friends and family if you can. You need to disconnect from your electronics, disconnect from the world in general, focus on each other, have an enjoyable conversation, make that meal important, appreciate the food that is on your plate and the people who are surrounding you. You can also appreciate things if you live alone and you don't have people to eat with. You can congratulate yourself on making a beautiful dinner. You can spend time with yourself. You don't have to be with others in order to share your meal. You are a worthy person. So we're going to move up a little bit on the pyramid and we're going to talk about things to drink, water and herbal infusions. So the beverages on the Mediterranean diet, basically drink plenty of water. Aim for 6 to 8 ounce glasses of water daily. And if you don't really like plain water, then make it interesting. You can cut up citrus, you can add herbs, you could throw in some berries, let the flavors infuse, and you will get a much more interesting beverage. You could also drink herbal tea. That's another way to zhuzh up your water. And then drinking red wine in moderation. And the reason why they focus on red wine is because red wine contains resveratrol. And that is something that can help to lower your blood pressure because it encourages the dilation of your blood vessels. But only do this if it fits into your lifestyle. If you do not take wine or any alcohol in your life, don't start now. It's not recommended. It's not recommended. It's not required. That's the right word. So only do this if it fits into your lifestyle. And again, only do it in moderation. So take it with a meal so that you're not just having alcohol on an empty stomach. For women, the recommendation is up to 1 5-ounce glass daily. And for men, the recommendation is for up to 2 5-ounce glasses. So then moving up a little farther in the pyramid, we're going to get to this section for things to include in every main meal. So in every main meal on the Mediterranean diet, we want to include 1 or 2 servings of fruit and 2 or more servings of vegetables. Include as many different colors as you possibly can because every different color has a different nutrient associated to it. All of them are important. And plus, when you have colorful foods, it just makes things look so much more appetizing. So what is a serving of fruit? It could be a small whole piece of fruit, like a small pear or a small apple, a small orange. It could be, if you cut your fruit up, it would be maybe a cup of berries, a half a cup of something that's super sweet, like pineapple or mango or papaya. If you're eating a banana, that covers your 2 servings. Vegetables, the servings of vegetables are 1 cup of raw vegetables or 1/2 cup of cooked vegetables. And again, in every main meal in the Mediterranean diet, we want to include whole grains. So that could be whole wheat bread. It could be Rice, brown rice, black rice, red or wild rice. It could be oats. The whole grain oats would be either rolled oats or steel cut oats, as opposed to instant oatmeal. Another whole grain would be barley, quinoa, cornmeal, popcorn. Popcorn is a whole grain, and then whole grain cereals. So you will want to check your labels for the ingredients. It needs to say 100% whole grain. Sometimes it will be on the front of the package. Sometimes you will see it in the ingredient section. Don't be fooled when something says, it just says wheat flour, because that just means white flour. It has to say whole wheat flour in order for it to be the whole grain. And avoid products that are containing enriched flour, because that's just white flour with some vitamins added back. And of course, on our Mediterranean diet, we want to include olive oil. Extra virgin olive oil is the best kind. Use it in cooking, use it as a salad dressing, drizzle it over your finished foods. But olive oil is the very foundation of the Mediterranean diet. Now we move up on the pyramid a little bit and we get to things to include every day. So we want to include 1 to 2 servings of olives, nuts, and seeds. A serving would be, if we're talking about olives, 1 serving of olives would be 5 large olives or 10 small olives. Nuts and seeds, a serving would be about 1 ounce. Try to get that every day into your routine. And then herbs and spices every day. Herbs and spices, garlic and onions. The more flavor that you can add to your food, the less salt you're going to need. Salt is something that can hold on to fluid. It causes inflammation. If you have arthritis, it can make your joints feel stiff. It can certainly make your blood pressure go up. So if you can replace that salt with herbs and spices, garlic and onions, you're going to go a long way to fill up the flavor of the dish without having to use so much salt. A little pinch is okay. A big teaspoon, probably not okay. So again, every day we want 2 servings of low-fat yogurt or low-fat cheeses, and that's 2 servings total, not 2 servings of each. This again is part of the Mediterranean diet. So low-fat cheeses are going to be anything made with low-fat or skim milk. It could be cottage cheese. Goat cheese is a naturally low-fat cheese. Your lower-fat yogurts would be great. You could use plain yogurt. You could flavor it up by putting in some berries, some seeds, a few nuts would be great. A little drizzle of honey. It tastes delicious. You could also do the fruit flavored yogurts, whatever you like. So then we're going to move to the top of the pyramid, and those are the foods that we should eat weekly, or no more than meat. So fish and seafood, we want 2 or more servings of fish or seafood every week. The fatty fish are a very good source of omega-3 fatty acids, and those fatty fish examples would be salmon or tuna or halibut. Also weekly, you could have 2 to 4 servings of eggs, and I would say that a serving of eggs is 1 egg. Legumes over here, which would be your beans and peas. We want to have 2 or more servings every week. They are giving you lots of vitamins and minerals and a ton of fiber. And then our white meats, we want about 2 servings a week. So that could be chicken, it could be turkey, it could be lean pork. Also weekly, we want 3 or less servings of potatoes, less than 2 servings of red meat, and less than 1 serving of processed meat. I believe that the reason that we're picking on potatoes, 3 or less servings is because we do tend to fill up on potatoes. And if you fill up on potatoes, and they seem to be a go-to kind of starch in my home, I know that you fill up on this and then you start to eat less of the vegetables. And you really should be concentrating on all those beautiful, different, colorful vegetables and less on the potatoes. They're a delicious, healthy food as long as we don't deep fry them, but let's try to eat some other foods as well. Red meat, you want to do the lean cuts of meat, something that, you know, if you see the fat, cut it off, don't eat it. Try not to buy any cuts of meat that have a lot of fat marbling in them, because you cannot cut that piece of fat out. Processed meats would be things like sausage or bacon or hot dogs. They tend to contain, I'm not sure what. I mean, I truly don't know how sausages are made. I can make it myself, but nobody likes it because it has no fat. But these are things that you should be having less than 1 serving. So now we're going to talk about, I think I missed a slide. Weekly sweets, less than 2 servings. So that would be a reasonably sized cupcake or a small slice of cake. If you're having little M&Ms, look on the package. It's going to tell you how many M&Ms are included in a serving. Always look at your nutrition labels, because that's what your serving sizes are. You know, maybe 1 piece of your Halloween candy or 2 pieces of your Halloween candy, but no more. Don't go hog wild on sweet. So what you can really see here is that we're trying not to eliminate any one thing. It's just trying to focus on whole grains, on fruits and vegetables, healthy fats, not so much on the things that have become our go-to, at least in this country, of sweets and processed meats and things that are just convenient. So now we're going to talk about how to put our meals and snacks together and a little bit of tips for dining out. So first, you can't do anything unless you have a good stocked pantry. So here is a little shopping list of things that you should keep on hand all the time. Your vegetables, fresh or frozen, would be best. If you have to buy canned, then just try to buy the ones that don't have any salt. Your tubers, which are basically potatoes, sweet potato, white potato, yellow potato, purple potatoes. Those would be great to keep in your pantry. Whole grains, your whole grain breads, whole grain pasta, rice and cereals. For fruits, fresh or frozen would be best. Canned is okay, as long as they're packed in their own juice. Things packed in heavy syrup just have way too much sugar. And then our legumes, lentils, chickpeas, black beans, kidney beans, etc. Eat those. Those are easy to stock in the pantry. Nuts and seeds. Walnuts are the most healthy nut that you could possibly eat. They have, they're the highest plant source of omega-3 fatty acids. So they are the most healthy nut that you can possibly eat. But way up there with that would be almonds and pistachios, which are all nuts that are very easily obtained and easy to keep. You can keep them in your pantry, you can keep them in your freezer. I, for one, love to eat a frozen walnut. I think that is a really great treat. When you're buying them though, seeds, I'm sorry, I didn't address seeds. Seeds like pepitos, little pumpkin seeds, sunflower seeds, things like that. So I tend to buy them with no salt. If that is too bland for you, then what I would suggest is getting the lower salt version or getting the lower salt version and the unsalted version and then mixing them together so that you have just a little tiny bit of salt and it's not so bland. But if you're good with unsalted, you unsalted. So then Sorry about that. We come to our seafood. So salmons, sardines, mackerel, trout, shrimp, mussels, scallops, whatever you like to eat. Tuna, I left tuna off of here. Tuna from the can is just as is nutritious as tuna not from the can. So in the world of omega-3 fatty acids, salmon and sardines and mackerel and trout and tuna are going to have the highest amounts of omega-3s, shrimp, mussels, scallops. They're just delicious. Dairy products, you want your low-fat yogurt and low-fat milk, low-fat cheese, poultry and eggs, keep those on hand, and your healthy fats, your extra virgin olive oil, olives, avocados, avocado oil. When you're cooking, if you're going to be cooking at a higher temperature, it's better to use avocado oil than it is to use the extra virgin olive oil because that one will scorch at a higher temperature, but avocado oil can hold up to the higher heat. So let's put some meals together. And I just made 3 categories. There's really no rules about breakfast. You can have whatever you want. You can have traditional breakfast foods. You can have a lunch food if you wanted. But if you were to, I have my categories of proteins, grains, and fruits and vegetables. Just choose 2 or 3. Choose from 2 or 3 of these categories. So you could have yogurt. You could have that with blueberries. You could have yogurt. Actually, something I like to do is put yogurt on my Cheerios. And also I will put strawberries on. So that's a great breakfast. You can have a delicious omelet made with eggs and spinach and peppers and onions. You could have avocado toast would be awesome with an egg on top. What else could we make? All sorts of things. You can make a smoothie. Smoothies are fantastic for getting a lot of fruits and vegetables into you, and you don't even have to chew. So you could make it with yogurt. You could throw in half a cup of raw oats. You could put in some frozen berries, and you can add a liquid, so water or a milk. You can use a plant-based milk if you wanted. Blend it all together, and you get a fantastic smoothie. Sometimes I also add nuts. I also add chia or flax seeds to my smoothies, and I get such a great, powerful breakfast that will keep me going all day because sometimes I don't have time to eat lunch, but I get so much nutrition out of my smoothies. But that's for breakfast. So I'm sure if you just choose from the categories, you're going to come up with something wonderful. And the same thing for lunch, just choose from 2 or 3 of these categories. A lot of times we eat yogurt for lunch. You can have breakfast for lunch if you want to. You can make a delicious salad using chicken, salad greens. You can throw some fruit into your salad. You can put nuts on your salad. You can make a sandwich with your whole grain bread. If you like to have that crunch, thinking of like potato chips. I'm so used to having potato chips, I can't live without the crunch. Make little cucumber chips or veggie sticks. Those are very crunchy as well. Peppers make a great dipper, dipping something in hummus. Hummus is a fantastic thing to dip into. And even a little bit of guacamole, that would be a really good vegetable dip. And then again, for dinner, just choose from 2 or 3 of the categories. Fish, seafood, poultry, beans, nuts and seeds, cheese, white or red meats, from your grains, quinoa, rice, pasta, potatoes, cornmeal. I put cornmeal in here. I just made the most delicious polenta last night that we had with our pork chops and also a bunch of Brussels sprouts. So there's tons of. I'm sorry. My Alexa just went off and I don't know why. So you can make a delicious meal by just choosing a protein, choosing a grain, choosing a fruit or a vegetable. So now we're moving on to healthy snacks. What's going to be different about snacks is they're not going to be as convenient as if you were eating a processed food. So you could use hard-boiled eggs for a snack. You could carry around a piece of fruit. You could have a little bag of nuts to bring with you to school or work. Cottage cheese and fruit is a wonderful snack. Just a handful of berries are making a nice hummus dip with some vegetable dippers and some whole grain crackers. These are all very delicious snacks, but unfortunately, they're not always convenient. What the Mediterranean diet is taking away from you is processed food. So it's not easy to say, run into a rest stop while you're on the highway and find one of these snacks. So it does take some planning. If you know that you're going to be out and you're going to be hungry and you're going to need a snack, make sure you pack that at the beginning of the day. It's very easy to carry nuts. They're not going to go bad. Sometimes the fruit might get bruised, but just carry it carefully. It's doable. Popcorn is also another great snack. I don't include it here, but it is another great snack. So now we come to dining out. So just tips for dining out. Choose fish or some kind of seafood or a vegetarian main meal. Choose a chicken if you want to meat. If you haven't had beef in 2 weeks, have a little steak. Don't have a giant steak, just have a small steak. Ask for your foods to be grilled instead of fried. Choose your whole grain breads. Add vegetables to your order. Order a side salad. Order a hot vegetable, preferably without a heavy sauce, preferably grilled or roasted or steamed. But there's ways to eat out without being unhealthy and sticking to your Mediterranean way. So in summary, the Mediterranean diet is really just a set of guidelines for an anti-inflammatory diet. Inflammation is the thing that is causing all kinds of havoc in your body. So having an anti-inflammatory diet is a great way to try to be healthier. It focuses on plant foods, fish, seafood, poultry, and low-fat dairy, and it eliminates highly processed food. So the health benefits of the Mediterranean style diet are that they lower the risk of heart disease. It lowers your blood pressure. It can lower your blood cholesterol. It promotes heart health. It can prevent weight gain. Stabilizes blood sugar levels. It can lower insulin resistance. And my favorite part is it may even benefit brain health. So how does it do it? Again, it's all about that anti-inflammatory diet. It can prevent weight gain. How does it prevent weight gain? Well, if you're eating all of these foods that contain a lot of fiber, that's going to fill up your stomach. Fiber foods take longer to digest, so they empty out of your stomach slower. If you're full on these foods and you are not eating those processed foods that are causing inflammation and havoc in your body, then it will prevent weight gain. It's not saying that it's going to cause you to lose weight. That could be a happy accident, but it can prevent you from gaining more weight. It can stabilize your blood sugar levels almost in the same way because it delays your stomach from emptying into your digestive system. And when you can slow down your digestion, you will not have blood sugar spikes if that is something that is unique to your life. Perhaps you have diabetes. So by increasing your fiber, you can help to stabilize your blood sugar levels. And it can also lower insulin resistance because it's an anti-inflammatory diet once again. And then benefiting brain health, again, it's an anti-inflammatory diet. Inflammation is at the root of all evil in our bodies. So you want to do everything that you can to reduce inflammation. And if by eating in this way, you can do that, it's very beneficial. It's a no-brainer. So just one takeaway. If there's one thing that you take away from this presentation, I want it to be that you increase your intake of fruits and vegetables. Try to get at least one serving of fruit or one serving of vegetables with every meal and snack that you eat. If you take away nothing else from this presentation. And that completes the whole thing. These are my references. And I'm sure I didn't say everything in my head, so if anyone has questions, I'd love to.
Thank you, Dina. That was awesome. Really terrific. I like the way you separated everything so you could kind of make your meal based on those different groups. I thought that was a great idea. So we do have a few questions in the queue, and we invite the audience to type their questions into the Q&A box, and we'll try to get through as many as possible. So the first question, if you could repeat, what does the red wine contain that you had said that it contains?
It's called resveratrol, resveratrol. So if you wanted to Google
it. Very good, thank you.
Okay. And the properties of resveratrol are that they can dilate your arteries and cause the blood to flow easier. So in hypertension, very often the arteries are not dilated, they're constricted. And it's harder for the heart to pump the blood through them. So resveratrol kind of relaxes them and makes them open up.
Excellent, thank you. The next question, is a can of tuna the same value as fresh tuna fish?
If you caught it yourself, I'm going to say no. If you're buying it at the supermarket, I'm going to say yes. It's we'll call it healthy enough to be beneficial.
Oh, very good.
The things that are different about it is that it's typically got salt added. When it's canned, it can be canned in water, it can be canned in olive oil. And hey, we're talking all about the olive oil today. So maybe go for that one. If you're using that one, then you don't necessarily even need any mayonnaise if you're making a tuna salad. So it's healthy enough to be beneficial in the world of getting enough omega-3 fats. And the importance of getting omega-3 fats is that it is very instrumental in decreasing inflammation in your body. And that's the chronic inflammation that we cannot see that is there. It is just ruining everything. It can cause you to have hypertension. It can cause you to have an increased risk of heart disease. It can breed some cancers. So it's just very important to try not to live in this inflamed state. And where does the inflammation come from? Typically, it's our processed foods. They're just not doing us any favors.
Great, thank you. Are there any challenges for the Mediterranean diet, such as things that might cause weight gain, etc.?
I think it depends on which parts you're going to love the most. So if you go to the bottom-ish part of the pyramid and you see, oh, I can eat bread, and then you get all of your calories from bread, well, you're probably going to increase your weight. If you are more attracted to the fruits and vegetables, then you're going to have less calories going into it. As far as the olive oil goes, they're very like, yes, olive oil, put it on everything, bathe in it, you know, it's wonderful. But you have to also remember that oil is a fat, and fats per gram have twice as many calories, actually a little bit more than that, as a gram of carbohydrate or a gram of protein. So while it is a healthy fat, it still has those calories. So don't overuse it.
Excellent. Thank you.
That answered the question.
Yeah. The next question, can you ease into this diet or do you really need to go all in?
I would say if easing in is what you need to do, then by all means, ease in. I think you'd have the highest benefit if you were all in, but if you need to ease in, I mean, I'm not gonna say no. Sometimes it's just baby steps are what wins the race. So if you can, you know, just like I said at the end, if you can just add one fruit or vegetable to every meal that you eat, that would be a huge improvement over what may be our average diet. And diet for me is a 4-letter word. I don't like that word at all because it implies something that you have to be on. Like I'm on a diet, I can't eat whatever. But it implies something that is not permanent. It's temporary. If I do this diet, it will get me from point A to point B. And then once I get to point B, I don't have to be on that diet anymore. I can go back to eating whatever I want. Well, that's not true. If you do that, you're going to regain all your weight. So what is better for you is to adapt a different lifestyle, something that's going to allow you to eat all the foods that you love at some point. You don't necessarily have to eat them every day. So as we learned in the pyramid, like when you get towards the top, the red meat is there. So if you know, I really love a burger in the summer, okay, have your burger in the summer. Don't have a burger every single day of the summer. I really love a hot dog. Okay, try not to eat too many. And for anyone who doesn't know, a serving of hot dogs is one. We're trying to eat processed meat less than once a week. So if you had 2 hot dogs a month, I think that falls into the guidelines. Again, with the sweets, less than 2 servings a week. So it doesn't say don't eat them. We're human. We have to live here. We live in our bodies. We need to enjoy life. And if a square of chocolate is what makes you happy, have your square of chocolate. Try not to eat the whole bag of chocolate. Everybody has a birthday. There's always a celebration. You're going to allow yourself to have that piece of cake. You're just not going to have it every single day.
Hey, great answer. This person has a number of questions, but we'll start at the top. Can you recommend a good cookbook? The first one.
There are many cookbooks out there. There is another dietitian that used to put on these fusion cooking demonstrations here in Westfield, and I don't think he's done it in quite a while, but I went to 3 of them and he was wonderful. And that's before I ever became a dietitian. So I would say he was one of my inspirations. His name was Bill Bradley, and he also published his own cookbooks. So if you Google Bill Bradley, registered dietitian, I'm sure that you could be led to his cookbooks.
Excellent.
Yeah,
Great.
he actually went to the Mediterranean for a long time, studied their way of cooking, learned from them, developed his own recipes, came back here, wrote his cookbooks. So that would be a great source.
Wow, that's a great tip. Local tip. The next question, I've read that low-fat yogurt is has more sugar than full fat. What is the benefit of a low-fat yogurt, and is 2% okay?
Do you mean, are you talking about added sugar or natural sugar? I guess is my question with that. So always look on your label, look for this, the line that says added sugar includes added sugars, and it will give you a gram count. So for that, I mean, having maybe 4 to 7 grams of added sugar would be okay. You can also just have unflavored yogurt and add your own flavoring. So you could put in a drizzle of honey or like a drizzle of maple syrup and some seeds, pepitas. They go really well in there. What else do I put in here? Strawberries, definitely. And again, I like to mix it with my Cheerios. I don't know what it is about that. I like my yogurt crunch. So is 2%, is that what you asked? Was that part of the question? Is 2%?
Oh, yes, is 2%, okay.
I think so. But again, I have to look at the label to truly tell you accurately, which will be an upcoming webinar.
Right. Great segue. Yes, that will be an upcoming webinar. So terrific. So more to come on sugar and labels. Let's see. Can they get a copy of the slides? There are a couple of slides like the shopping list that Dina had recommended. If anybody's looking for specific slides out of the presentation beyond the recording, you can, in the survey, you can leave your email address and which slides you're interested in, and I can send those specific things to you. Otherwise, you can re-watch the presentation, which we are recording. Let's see. Can you show the recommended exercises, amount, etc.? I think that was part of your slide deck. And that we can send that. That's all right. We can send that to them.
I didn't have a time amount on there.
Okay.
It would just basically be active every day. There's different schools of thought on the time spent on exercise. I mean, it depends on, I suppose, what your goals are. But as long as, I mean, think of it this way, keep your joints nice and oiled or else you're going to rust like the Tin Man. So if you sit down all the time and then you stand up and you're like, oh, geez, it takes you a minute to just right yourself and you're limping for your first few steps. You sat too long. Get up before that. Make sure you're active. You know, if you're at work, request a standing desk. It's the best thing that ever happened to me. I have a standing desk. I'm standing at it right now. You know, just try to be active every day. It doesn't have to be playing team sports. It doesn't have to be extreme anything. It's just like go for a little walk, even if it's just around your block one time. Anything you can do. If you're stuck indoors and it's the middle of winter and you don't want to go outside, go up and down your stairs 3 times. You know, just something to get yourself moving as opposed to being stagnant in a chair.
Excellent. Thank you. This person is asking for any details on what olive oils are best.
Now Bill Bradley is an expert on that. He actually was bringing over these big cans of olive oil right from I want to say Greece, and they were absolutely phenomenal. But he also said that the Costco brand of extra virgin olive oil was just as good, and that Trader Joe's olive oil, extra virgin olive oil, was just as good. So if you're a Costco shopper or you're a Trader Joe shopper, those are 2 very good olive oils. There's one that I love to get from the north end of Boston that just, it smells like a freshly mowed lawn. And it doesn't sound like that's good to eat, but you have to smell this. And I get it from a store called Salumerica Italia. And it's a liter bottle and it probably cost me $30, but I use the smallest little teaspoon on my salad every day. And it's enough to just like, it's, oh gosh, I don't even know how to explain it. It's like a whole bouquet. It's the aroma of this olive oil makes everything taste better, I guess is how I would describe that. So if I'm boosting some businesses around here, that one I think is definitely worth it. If you should find yourself in the north end of Boston, look for this Salumerica Italia and go in, and they will actually give you a sample of this olive oil, and it just tastes so wonderful.
Excellent. The next question, what if you are a bariatric patient and need a lot of protein, 90 plus grams a day?
If you're a bariatric patient, this might not be the diet for you. You do need a lot of protein. So how are you getting that right now? I don't know what stage of the bariatric surgery you would be in. You need what protein shakes right after, before and after. So I mean, this may not be the diet for you. However, you can still kind of take the principles of it and kind of go from there. So what you want to do is just eliminate your processed food. Make sure that you're having some fruit and vegetable every day, even if you can only get it in once a day. So, I mean, if you have bariatric surgery, you're not going to be eating big meals anyway because they just won't fit into your stomach. You're not going to want to eat the sweets because you are at risk for dumping syndrome, which is a whole different subject. And it's very unpleasant. So you're going to follow the recommendations of the bariatric dietitian, obviously, but things that you can do that are in a Mediterranean style would be to avoid your processed foods and make sure you're getting your fruits and vegetables.
Excellent, thank you. This person is asking if there's a better red wine than another.
Well, I think that's subject to the beholder. So, I mean, I love me a red wine, I gotta say, and I'm not snobby about it, I'm just particular about it. So I would say the one that you like the best. So I like to go to wineries and taste what I'm buying, and that's where I tend to get my wine. And then, you know, my sisters come over and they want the whites and I don't have any. Sorry, sisters, bring your own. But it just whatever you
Sure. This person says, thank you, a detailed and informative presentation, and they are excited to start the Mediterranean diet. Oh, that's so nice. Terrific. This person is wondering, cutting down on sweets and sugar is good. What about sugar-free candies?
Sugar-free candies are typically sweetened with sugar alcohols. So sugar alcohols have the potential to give you, we'll call it GI upset. So 10 grams of sugar alcohols, which you can find on the back of the package, will cause you to have very bad gas and possibly diarrhea. So having a little bit is okay. Having a lot of it is not good. It's just not good for your body.
Thank you. This person is asking, is almond milk in the nut category and does it have the same benefits as whole almonds?
I don't think it does because it doesn't have the fiber, but almond milk is what I put in my coffee, so I'm an almond milk believer. It has more calcium than cow's milk. Almonds are chock full of calcium. It doesn't have the protein of cow's milk, but if you don't use dairy products, then having the plant-based is okay.
Excellent, thank you. This question, not sure where I saw avocados on the pyramid, but what is the frequency for these and what is the serving, half or whole?
I would put avocados into an everyday category. What is the serving? Depends on who you're asking. So I believe the actual serving recommended by the USDA would be 1/8 of an avocado. Is that what I eat? No. I will put a half an avocado into my smoothie that I then split in half with my husband. If he was not around to drink the other half, I'd be having the entire half of an avocado because I love it that much. If I make avocado toast, it depends on the size of the avocado. Sometimes that entire avocado ends up on my piece of toast. So it's I would say it's a food that's going to fill you up. It's going to keep you nice and satisfied. It has many benefits. It has vitamin C, vitamin E, potassium, and lots of fiber. So I'm not going to tell you not to eat the whole thing, but it is very fatty. It's actually a fruit.
Oh,
it's going to have a lot of calories. So I don't know that you'd want to do that every day, but I don't know. I think it's like, don't eat the entire avocado. Find someone to share it with, like a chocolate bar. Find someone to share it with would be good. But again, if you have them every day, eat them every day.
great. Next question. Great presentation and information. If I use a plant-based protein powder to make I use a plant-based protein powder to make a fruit smoothie. Is this something that I should continue or avoid as I try to increase my daily grams of protein?
I think it's great. I use protein powder in my smoothies every day. I find it keeps longer than yogurt for sure. There's lots of different flavors that you can use. I think that it's very good with keeping up with your protein.
Excellent. Can you skip meat altogether? And would this be a balanced diet, or alternatively, pescatarian? If I said that
Yes,
right.
you can skip meat altogether. You're not required to eat meat. You're not required to eat anything on this diet that you don't like. Meat is not necessary. You can get enough protein from a plant-based diet. You just have to make sure you're concentrating and get enough protein. So that would come from like your whole grains. They contain some protein. Even oatmeal is going to contain some protein. Quinoa is a really great source of protein. I'm not sure if you're talking about eating cheeses, but cheeses would have a good source of protein. Nuts and seeds are a great source. Pescatarian, yeah, eat your fish. Fish is great for you if you choose to eat fish. If you choose to eat eggs, that's also a great source of protein. So in no way do you have to eat.
Excellent, thank you. I saw you listed whole grain pasta. Is this the same as wheat pasta?
Is it whole wheat pasta? Would be my question. So again, look on the oh yeah, I guess the answer to that would be yes. So you can, but sometimes that whole wheat pasta can have kind of a sharp bite to it that kind of turns people off. So there's tons and tons of varieties of whole grain pastas out there now. So some of them would be like red lentil pasta or chickpea pasta, things like that. They're going to have a lot of fiber. So yeah, I'm not a pasta eater, but I know they're out there. I know they're out there. So yeah, it would be the same as whole wheat pasta.
Excellent, thank you. This question, thank you for this information. How are sweet potatoes in regards to their dietary value?
They're excellent.
Okay.
Well, you have your white potatoes, which would be, you're getting your vitamin C, you're getting your potassium, you're getting your fiber from those. The difference between that and the sweet potato is the sweet potato has the beta carotene in it, and you're getting a lot of vitamin A. So they're both really good for you.
Oh, thank you.
As long as we don't make them into French fries, that makes the value go away.
Excellent. Any supplements that you would recommend, i.e. for omega-3s, and what about specific probiotic strains?
Supplements, if you feel that you're not going to get enough omega-3s through your food, and you would be getting those primarily through fatty fish or walnuts or almonds, flax seeds and chia seeds are great sources of the omega-3s. It's best to get your nutrients through your food, but if you feel that you're not going to get enough of the omega-3s, and really you need to eat the omega-3 foods like 3 or 4 times a week in order to get a good benefit from them. So if you're a person who is allergic to nuts and allergic to fish, and you could possibly eat those two things, then you could get a vegan omega-3 supplement, and I believe that would be made from flaxseed oil. If you don't have those allergies, but you would still like to take that supplement, then you can take a fish oil supplement. Any brands I am not familiar with, because that's not something that I take myself, so I just haven't paid attention to it. There is the world of probiotics is a whole subject to delve into as well. So I do take a probiotic, and I get it online. I cannot for the life of me remember the brand name of it right now, but it has it's little live active things in it, and it's like the capsule is coated so that it can get through the stomach and into the intestine before it opens and releases its probiotic goodness. And I found that by just researching online. So you could do the same thing. I don't really have a specific recommendation for that.
Thank you. Next question. And I just want to mention that we're getting close to time, so we'll be able to do a couple of more of these. How long does it take for the diet to begin, or this, situation to begin impacting your health?
I don't have any specific statistics on that, but anything that you can do to try to end that cycle of inflammation is going to be helpful to you. So I'm sorry, I don't have a statistic on that, but if you can just start to eat some more fruits and vegetables, I think you're going to see a profound impact on things such as you feel better. You're getting these vitamins that you weren't getting before. You're getting the fiber that maybe you weren't getting before. And it's, your skin's going to look different. Your energy is going to be different. You might find that you're suddenly regular. So I don't have a statistic on the time frame.
Very good, though. That's great information. If you are on the Mediterranean diet for a period of time, should you consider talking to your doctor about paring back on specific meds?
That would depend on what is going on in your body. So if you're finding that you had high blood pressure and suddenly it is being better regulated, then you would definitely talk to your doctor about your blood pressure medications, because that's something that can make you, like, if you're taking too much blood pressure medication and then your pressure goes very low, that's kind of dangerous for you. So you would definitely want to talk to your doctor about that. But the truth is usually in the blood work. So always see your doctor at least once a year, get that blood work done, take a dive into the crystal ball that is the results of that, and see how exactly healthy are you. But in the matter of blood pressure, that's something that you're gonna feel physical signs of. Definitely, if you are taking too much, because this kind of diet might cause you to lose 10 pounds. And what does your doctor tell you when you have high blood pressure? You need to lose 10 pounds. That will significantly help your blood pressure. So if that is a happy accident of eating in this style, then maybe you do need to talk to the doctor, or definitely start making a list of questions for them so that when you do see them, you recall to ask them.
Excellent. Well, we are at time. There are plenty of comments about the presentation and the great information. So we want to thank all of our attendees for these great questions, and really for you, Dina, for giving us all this great information so that we can reduce our inflammation. So we have upcoming events on fats, so look for that this fall. The newsletters are going to be in home soon, and then we have another one coming up about reading labels. So thank you to everyone for joining us. Thank you, Dina, and we look forward to seeing you at the next event.
Hey, everybody.